Greetings to our pastors and leaders in the state of Kentucky. I wanted to come to you today just to give you a basic overview of some of the continuing education credit guidelines for the North American Church of God of Prophecy and explain that process and some of the resources that are already available to you. I know that we have talked about this some on our State of the State Zooms and at the Healthy Church Dynamics. But for those that were not able to be a part of that, I thought that it would be good to have this resource video as well. And we'll be able to talk a little bit more in depth about some of the aspects of the continuing education program in this video. So even if you were on the State of the State Zoom or at Healthy Church Dynamics, you may find this video very helpful. One of the first things that I wanted to go over with you, which I sent out a couple weeks ago, but if you did not receive it, let me know, and I will make sure that you have a copy of it, is the Continuing Education Guide that has been published by the North American Church of God of Prophecy office. And so we're just going to walk through this so that you understand all the aspects of the continuing education program. Part of the rationale behind having a continuing education program is to further validate the professional role that you are already in. You've heard me say it before, and I'll say it often, but you are on par with those professionals that are nurses, doctors, lawyers, teachers. And in all of those professions, those professionals have to undergo continuing education in order to maintain their certification and their licensure. And this continuing education process is not to be a burden to you or to really add something else onto your plate, but it's to further validate those steps that you are already taking as leaders, as pastors, as ministers of God's Word, to stay up to date and to stay trained in best practices for ministering and pastoral ministry. You will find as we go through this that you are already probably attaining what we are going to consider continuing education credits every year. We're just going to start making it a formal process and recording it so that it is a further validation of your professional role. The continuing education credits for the North American Church of God of Prophecy is not to be confused with a college course credit hour. If you take a college course, you may have 3 credit hours for that course, but we both know that you're going to do much more than 3 hours of work. That is not what we're talking about here. The continuing education credits for the North American Church of God of Prophecy gives you 1 credit for every hour of learning that you participate in. So last weekend, we hosted the Healthy Church Dynamics at Camp Nikyle. There was a total of 17 hours of seat learning. And so if you were there for the entire weekend, you earned 17 continuing education credits. So for every 1 hour of active learning that you do, you will be able to count that as 1 continuing education credits. You will notice throughout North America and throughout the Kentucky Leadership Development Department that when we have a sponsored event that is pre-approved for continuing education credits, you will see this logo right here. Now this one says 4 CECs, that's just an example, but you may see that down to 1 CEC all the way up to 20 CECs, depending on what the course, program, or conference is. I want you to know that anytime the state of Kentucky does a training event or a leadership seminar, a lunch and learn, something along those lines, if it is put on by the state of Kentucky, it will automatically be approved for continuing education credits. And you will see that logo so that you will know how to record how many CECs you earned at that. You will also see some events coming from the International Office, North American sponsored events, things like the Institute of Children's Ministry, which is coming up in November. That is going to be worth quite a few CECs because that conference takes place over Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But anything that is done at an international level or a North American level is automatically going to qualify for those continuing education credits. You may also find in your networking and your relationships that there is another state or a region within the Church of God of Prophecy who is doing a leadership training event that they have put the CEC logo or emblem on as well. And you are more than welcome to participate in those trainings and count those continuing education credits towards your total of 20 per year. As we get into things, we may also organize some state-sponsored book studies where we may do some Zoom videos and meet once a week or once every other week to go through a leadership book. And if and when we have that opportunity available to you, we will be sure to communicate that far in advance so that you can plan, and then that will give you an opportunity for continuing education credits as well. There may, in addition to all of this, be some online courses or seminars or webinars and discussion groups that the National, Regional, State Leadership Development Department may offer you. I sent out a couple weeks ago a resource for continuing education credits, which we will look at in just a minute, which gives you some options to do some at-home learning for your continuing education credits. In addition to this, there will be some district-sponsored training events or courses. For example, I will be with District 1 on October 18th doing a leadership training at the Knobs Church. And that's specifically for the District 1 pastors, but anybody is eligible to come to that. So if you are near District 1, Knobs Church, and you want to come participate in that, you can certainly come participate in that. And that event will be worth 5 or 6 CECs. We'll be sure to get that information out to you once everything is finalized. You may also have a desire to do a local church training at your church. And churches can sponsor leadership development courses and seminars and training events. And these may qualify for CECs with proper advance consultation with the Leadership Development Department, aka me. And we'll go over the form that you will need to fill out if you want to get a leadership event or training sponsored at your church to qualify for continuing education credits. You may also find in your professional circle that there are conferences, seminars, or training sessions that are not a part of the Church of God of Prophecy. There are a plethora of leadership training resources that are available to lay leaders, pastors, and ministers. If you find something that you're interested in participating in and want to know if it qualifies for continuing education credits, then you will fill out the pre-approval form and send that to me, and potentially get approval for those continuing education credits. And we'll go over that form in just a moment. Several of you have already reached out to me and let me know that you are taking university or seminary courses. You may be enrolled at Lee University or PTS or Spirit in Life. And the good thing is these will qualify for continuing education credits, but you need to know how to calculate them. So if you are taking a 3-credit hour class, that class upon completion is worth 9 continuing education credits for North American Church of God of Prophecy. Basically, what you need to remember there is that for every university credit hour you take, that is worth 3 CECs. So a 3-credit hour class is worth 9 CECs. However, a 4-credit hour class would be worth 12 CECs. You just multiply whatever your credit hour is for that college university course and multiply it by 3. So let's talk about the pre-approval CEC form, which is attached to this document as well. As I mentioned, you may have a training at your church that you want to get approved. You may have a leadership conference that you are planning to attend, and you want to know if you can get continuing education credits for that. What you need to do is fill out this form, and you have to send it in at least 30 days in advance to myself so that I can review that and let you know if it will be approved for continuing education credits. So you will simply fill this out with your name, your email address, your mailing address, city, phone number. You will check whether you are a lay minister, a licensed minister, or a bishop. You do need to include your church name and your ministry license number on the form. Then you will give me the information about the course or event, giving its name, the name of the presenter, the location, the organization that is sponsoring that event, and then you will check whether or not you are asking for yourself to sponsor the event or if you're attending the event. So this is the differentiation between if you are wanting to lead a leadership training at your local church or if you are wanting to attend a leadership training that another organization is already hosting, and you'll just specify that there. And if you have not yet contacted someone yet to facilitate your training, in what areas can we help? Do you need assistance with children, youth, technology, church, health, other. If you need resources from myself or other state level leadership, we want to come alongside you and assist with your leadership trainings that you may be choosing to host at your church. On the second page, you'll provide the dates and amount of actual class time associated with the training course seminar that will be presented or attended. This will assist with the evaluation of continuing education credits. This is where I really need to know how many hours of seat time are participants going to have. Remember, we cannot count travel time. We cannot count lunch time. Okay, so if it is going to be a seminar that is from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., but 2 of those hours are going to be used for a lunch and a dinner break, then we would subtract those 2 hours from the total number of CECs that could be earned in that. And then if there's any printed course material or a flyer or handouts that you're going to be using, it would be helpful to include those in the email as well. That will just help me to make sure that I'm able to review the content in the course adequately. And then if you have any groups affiliated with the sponsor of the course or event that you will be attending or sponsoring, then you can check one of those boxes here. So is it associated with the international office, North America, your district or your region, a local church, a kingdom partners? What does that mean? An event sponsored by ministries that are not the Church of God of Prophecy. So anything outside Church of God of Prophecy. And if it doesn't fit into that, then just check the other and then specify there. And then this last box, that's for me. That is where I will be either approving it or denying it. I will list the amount of credits that are approved, and I will get that form back to you. I know the form says that you're going to submit this to your state bishop. That is something that Bishop White has asked me to take on as the leadership development discipleship coordinator for the state of Kentucky, so that he is free to be able to give his attention elsewhere. So he's given me that authorization to approve these forms. So if you'll just send those directly to me, then I will be able to help you out with that. Next, what is really important is how do you report these continuing education credits? We want you to get credit for them. And so if you are doing a digital report, it's really simple to add into your monthly ministers reports. And I'm just going to walk you through what that would look like. So I'm on the North American Ministries site, and I'm going to choose Kentucky, which you guys are accustomed to doing. I'm going to go to my pastoral report. And of course, you know how to fill in the month, the minister reporting, the sermons, the homes visited, tithes received, offerings, tithes due to the state regional office. I'm not going to go through all of that. But you will notice as you are scrolling down right here, it says continuing education credits. Right now it says 0. Okay, so if I'm filling this out for the month of August, I was at the Healthy Church Dynamics training. So I'm going to put in 17 because I was there for the entire weekend. And then it says right underneath it, education credits received how. All I'm going to do is type in Healthy Church Dynamics Conference at Camp Nicayo. This was a pre-approved CEC event, so you do not have to fill out any special forms. You do not have to submit a paper. You do not have to take a test or anything like that. We just need to know how you got those credits. And so you just give a little description in the box there, and then you're good. Once you've filled out everything else, you'll click the save button, and it will automatically keep track of your CECs. Now, my recommendation to you is to just in a little note or ledger, keep personal track of how many CECs that you have earned throughout the year. As a note, CECs do not roll over year to year. So if you're super enthusiastic and you earn 40 CECs this year, that's great. We love that. You are being excellent in your ministry. However, once we hit January 1, your CEC count is going to reset to 0, because the way that this program is set up is that every single year, pastors and ministers are required to earn 20 new continuing education credits. You can earn however many you want year to year, but once the calendar year resets, so does your continuing education credit count. So just don't plan on earning 2 years worth of CECs in a single year, because once you get to January 1, you're going to have to earn 20 new continuing education credits in 2026. All right, let's talk about the LDD resources that are already available to you. You may be used to going to this site, but I want to show you LDDtraining.com, which is where the Church of God of Prophecy International has already created a plethora of resources for pastors and ministers. This is now where the ministerial development program is housed for lay ministers. But if you have not already done that, then you can go through those courses and receive continuing education credits as well. How do we do that? When we go to LDDtraining.com, if you do not already have an account, you're going to click on this blue register button. You are going to put in your email. You are going to create a password and put in your username. My password and username is already pre-filled because I already have an account and it remembers me. And then you're just going to go down through this form and fill out all of the information. First name, last name, street address of your home, state, your phone number, your church name, your church address. It says optional, but it's helpful to put those in there as well. You're going to put in your birth date. And then here is what's really important. If you are a pastor, you are going to put in Bishop White's name right here. And then you are going to put in his email address right here. If you are a lay minister at a local church, you are going to put in your pastor's first and last name and your pastor's email address. Click the I agree to the terms of service and privacy policy, and then you will create that account and you'll be on your way. So then what does it look like when you actually log in? Well, when you go to the login screen, my username and password is pre-saved, so I just click that login button. You can pre-save it, but I also highly recommend that you record this somewhere just in case your computer is a little fritzy one day and you need to know what that information is. When you log in to LDD.training, you're going to come to this dashboard. And right now we don't really see any direct access to courses, but you do see this big button that says courses. We're going to click on that. And it is going to bring you to the 12 courses that LDD Training has already preloaded for you. And you can see which ones are labeled as MDP. They have that blue logo on them. And then there are other courses as well that are qualifying courses for continuing education credits, but are not a part of that ministerial development program. I highly recommend that if you've not been through this material, that you go through it, even if you're already a licensed minister. This is the updated ministerial training program for our lay ministers, and it has a lot of great content in there for you. So if you haven't clicked on anything, let's say we want to take the transformational elements of the gospel. We will click on that. And right now it says not enrolled. All I need to do is click the blue button that says take this course. And then it's going to update my screen and I'm going to click start course. And it will take you through things step by step in the lessons and the courses. You will read the content. You'll click the mark complete button when you have completed that portion. You will still be on the same page, and then that's where you use this next button at the top of the screen to progress. At the end of each of these courses is a course evaluation survey or it says final exam or quiz. These are really easy to take. Certainly do not be stressed about it. And if you don't pass it for some reason on the first try, you can take it again. And there's not like a waiting period or something like that. So don't be stressed about those. But this is a really great platform for you to get your training and access those courses. It's also a really great tool for you pastors. If you have lay ministers at your church, consider starting a cohort with them and take one course at a time and meet maybe on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night and kind of walk through this content with them. As you do that, they're going to earn their continuing education credits, and you are as well, because you will be going through that content. Okay, I mentioned how a couple weeks ago I sent out this document to you, which is something from the Leadership Development Department of the state of Kentucky, a continuing education credits resource. On this document, you will notice that there are several different ways that you can earn some continuing education credits. And you will see those logos that we talked about earlier identifying how many credits each thing is worth. So here we have Autopsy of a Deceased Church. It's from the Church Answered podcast. And it says, watch parts 1 and 2 to receive 1 Kentucky Church of God of Prophecy CEC. There's links here that say part 1 and part 2. All you have to do is click those links and it will take you directly to that podcast or that YouTube video. Everything is linked right here. This document contains for you a total of 12 CECs that you can earn. There is a variety of video content, podcast content, and written content. I will note for you that the two at the end, the LDD article, Developing and Leading Small Group Ministry, and Effective Elements of Youth and Children's Ministry, come directly from that LDD training platform. So if we go to the LDD training, we can see that that course is right here. All I did was take the written content from that course and put it into an easily accessible PDF for you if that is easier for you to read. That way you can print it out and you can go through that content there and still count it as a continuing education credit. So this is a great resource for you because these are all things that you can do at home on your own time. And once you have them completed, you just see how many CECs was that activity worth. You record it on your minister's report, as we looked at earlier, and then you are good to go. A couple of other neat resources that I wanted to make you guys aware of that are outside of the Church of God of Prophecy, but that will be helpful for you, is that Norton Healthcare is actually doing a leadership conference for faith leaders and some of the things that we need to know about in navigating healthcare for ourselves, but also in helping to guide our parishioners. This will take place on Tuesday, October 21st in Louisville. Registration for this is open now through October 17th, and it is a completely free conference. And they're also going to be providing a free continental breakfast and a catered lunch that day for anyone that wants to participate. I personally plan on attending this and going to it, and I'll send you the link in this email as well. But you can register here, and this conference will be worth a total of 5 CECs if you attend it. How was that calculated? Well, there's going to be a total of 5 hours of seat learning. So again, we're not counting those breakfast times, those lunch times, those break times. We're just counting that active learning. So yes, it starts at 8 a.m. and it goes until about 2:30, but that will get you 5 CECs if you want to attend this. This is approved by the Kentucky Leadership Development Department. So if you go to this, you can count it as continuing education credits. And then something else that I wanted to share with you all, just as a resource for pastors, is Dave Ramsey's organization is currently offering Financial Peace University completely free to pastors for 12 months. So I'm going to send you this link. If you've not been through Financial Peace University, it's a great resource just for personal finances, and it also equips you to be able to do this course at your church. If you want to lead it in a special Bible study or small group, it's a great resource to have for local churches, and they're offering it completely free right now to pastors. So I'm going to include that link and information in this email as well, but just wanted to share that as a resource for you guys. As always, I am available to answer any of your questions. Here is my contact information. You can reach me by my phone number. You can text me or call me at that number, and if I don't immediately answer, I will get back with you as quickly as possible. You can also email any of your questions or things that you need. If you want me to come speak at your church or help with the leadership development program, you can email me at stetson.harper2@gmail.com. I am praying for you guys. I appreciate you. I believe that God is going to use each of you mightily in your ministries, and I want you to know that I am here for you to support you in any way. I hope this video has been helpful for you guys and that you have a blessed day. Please let me know if you need any support. Talk to you guys soon.